Your song Moon, I really like that one. Is that about aliens and UFOs?
No.
No, it's not? Oh, okay.
No, it actually was written when we were all sort of first hanging out, and we would go to these, we were doing sweat lodges with Native American friends of ours. And this one time I couldn't go in. I don't know if you know about sweat lodges, but women are not allowed to go in on certain times of the month.
Oh, okay.
So I was sitting on this hill, just kind of watching the sweat lodge, and it was like a full moon, and I just like wrote the song that night, kind of watching, like the whole band was in the sweat lodge at the time.
Oh, okay.
That's when I wrote that song.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of like a
moment.
It was a moment, and then it was also kind of like a little bit prophetic, kind of like sort of seeing into the future kind of thing, you know?
But no alien.
There were no aliens involved, unless you count Michael.
Oh, you're from a place we didn't know.
No.
That's funny. Have you seen any aliens or UFOs? I don't know. Ever?
I saw one when I was a little kid.
Really?
Yeah, at least I think I did.
Cool.
Yeah. It was huge in the sky.
In Pennsylvania?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It was in Malvern, actually. But it could have been the moon. I don't know. Like now, like always looking back on it, it's like, did I see that? You know? But the time I was pretty sure I saw what I saw. But I was like about 12.
Okay. Well,
I have a picture of one.
Oh, really?
From like the middle of the side of the road in the middle of the country somewhere. I was taking a picture of like just an interesting road sign. But I couldn't say it really was, but it's totally one of those pictures that people would be like, oh man, I got this. I'll have to pick it up sometime.
Yeah, that's like 1 in a million to get it in a picture.
I mean, I don't know if it was one, but it was one of those pictures for sure.
Something like I always figure, I don't know, I've had friends tell me, they're like, well, if you think you saw something, you probably saw it. You're not crazy. So it's like you probably saw it.
Something.
But and even at 12 years old, you're old enough to not be, daydreaming all the time.
Right, yeah. I was walking to school, so I mean, like, it definitely.
What did it look like?
It was just this. It was just this big ball in the sky, like it was coming up above the trees. It was wild. Yeah. Then I turned around and
what color?
It was. I'm not sure. It was like, if I remember, it was like a off-white. I mean, it wasn't white like the moon.
That was the moon.
I mean, it wasn't white like the moon. You know what I mean? But it was like an off, like, I don't know. It was like a darker than that, but like, I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah.
To do some refreshing
like beige white, or it was odd. It was weird. I talked myself into thinking. I thought maybe it was like a big hot air balloon.
Or
something like that. But I don't know.
Like the Bloom Boy recently.
yeah.
Blue Diamonds. I forget that. I forgot where you got your inspiration for that one, but I remember it had a significant meaning.
That one was about a guardian angel.
Okay, that was the one.
A love song to her. That's not really her or him. It's just an angel.
Okay. Do you feel that that being is ever around now, or?
Yeah. I don't have as much contact with it right now, but I'm hoping it'll come back.
Okay. Cool.
I get really into it, like when I'm submerged in water.
Oh.
For some reason, baths and swimming, oceans and such.
That's interesting. They swim. They live in the water, maybe. Where? Like Garbage Man. Where did that come from?
Well, it's let me just think of the song real quick.
It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor for being a mirror to somebody and letting them see themselves in you, and also see the parts of them that are out of balance or adjusted, and that's sort of the garbage And so, being somebody's garbage man, you're facilitating that process of them releasing their garbage or their stuff, and you're helping get rid of it. So it's sort of where it comes from.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I was right. Yeah, and I liked all of them. Animals love touch. That was more like you, like feeling a little devastated, right, first, and then seeking out a new type of future with other people, or I don't know.
I think for me it was just more like getting into my own sexuality and being more comfortable in it, but also seeing in that how society is with sexuality and how unnatural some of the animal feelings are, or the truths about us being animals are kind of covered up or buried.
Yeah.
So I think it's a time where things are going to get more real quick, and so I was kind of like perceiving where we're going in the future as a society, and sort of what that song's about. Yeah.
Like people becoming more open-minded to all sorts of types of people. And, okay.
And themselves. You know,
themselves.
Yeah.
Recognizing it within yourself instead of living like a societal norm or acceptance.
Okay.
Right.
Living your norm.
Yeah. And even how you kind of see the marriage institution falling apart, and how it's not really natural, how it served that institution served a purpose for a while, as a thing to strive for, to conform to, but it's not really. It's obviously not happening now. There's like so much divorce and such,
right.
And it works for some people. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but
it's not necessarily the natural state.
Yeah, and nobody ever came down from the sky and said that that's the way man and woman should be, or man and man, or woman and woman. It can be freer than that, I guess what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, maybe, hopefully, in our country, with the new administration, that'll all be a lot easier for everybody to do what they'd like in their life instead of maybe in the past.
Just needs to hang out with Sarkozy a little bit.
I think that stuff's all just a matter of time. All of those things, like a lot of these problems that people view society of having, I think it's all just a matter of time to resolve. It's people being able to understand it and accept it and like process it. I think people have difficulty processing new things, and so they need jerk reactions to shut it down.
Right.
But like with time, if that wall gets lifted higher and higher and higher until there's no wall, and I think all those things that have been happening that like are pulling people apart or holding people apart, eventually either people will die off and the old way of thinking will dissipate, or their way of thinking will change. So, and I think that song like kind of reflects that to me.
It reminded me kind of like free love movement type. Yeah, too. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's funny because in other parts of the world, it's not like the Western world,
right.
and like they have different family units.
We're a really new society.
Yeah, and it's kind of very structured, but like family units are different around the world, and partnerships or like multiple partnerships, polyamorous, and all that type of stuff is a lot more common.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's why I just read that article in, I think it might have been Newsweek, but it was all the different monkeys.
All
different types of monkeys and how they develop their sexuality. And
did it have the bonobos?
Yeah.
They're like the crazy apes they're like bisexual apes that fight with each other and then like make up and fight with each other. And
and then the orangutans were the weirdest. They were just like all rapists.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was like very, very odd, but I was just thinking of the...
that's weird. I didn't know they were like...
Yeah, no, it's a weird sight because they feel that This is getting way off track, but